Welcome back, fellow armchair generals. This is Gamer 1745 here with my continuing playthrough of Hearts of Iron 3 with Black Ice 8.6. Okay, don't know whether Germany's really moved east or whether it's this little sort of pocket here that sort of interrupts it from being one long word here. Don't know, but whatever. Okay, we're starting now. I fired another one of the ERR events. Covering ERR in Pskov. I presume that's only mildly butchering it. The ERR confiscated over 1,000 church books, including many rare and old manuscripts, as well as printed volumes from the 17th century. 35,000 books were also taken from the Pedagogical Institute. Many were written by Russian scholars. This is a photo of some of the team that was going about this work. You can see the books being stacked up there and piled there. So got that. Now this is another thing I want you to report on if you have not seen. I think this event here needs to fire first, and it has a timer, I believe, of 20 days, and I believe that it's either 20 days of playing haven't happened, which I do believe it happened, but I think we haven't had a first of the month to check all this stuff and then go, okay, start the timing, because the conditions are met now 20 days from now. So that's just what I think is why this hasn't happened, because I've fired these two. I think we'll see at the start of the next month a bunch of more events fire, and I want to do that, which is actually sort of penalizing myself, but I want to see if they fire, see if it's a coding problem, because again, like I say, I think most of these things work. Tell me if you haven't seen a bunch of photos. If you notice, these are sort of elongated swastikas, sort of unique to this unit, or these units. If you haven't been seeing it and getting into a Russian invasion sometime after 41, that's sort of important, because there is a sort of initial start dates here. But so if you haven't been seeing these, or I'd also like confirmation that you have seen them and haven't fired. Okay, so let me read this. The Schutzmannschaft was a collaborationist auxiliary police in the German-occupied Soviet territories during the Second World War. This organization was established by Reichsführer SS Heinrich Himmler on July 25, 1941. The members of the Schutzmannschaft were subordinate to the German Ordnungspolizei, or the police. At its peak, the battalions of auxiliary police numbered 300,000 people. Although they lacked discipline, training, or modern weapons, the Schutzmannschaft battalions were heavily used by the Germans, outnumbering German police even 10 to 1. As a measure of regular or rearguard defense, the auxiliary police were used in multiple roles: stationary police, patrolmen in cities and districts, anti-partisan operation, POW guarding, even in the battle against the Soviet Union. Note, if you form this unit, you do not change their names or disband them, because you will break the event change. So, because there are some checks in there. So we are going to fire this. Basically, this just sets a flag. And what's supposed to happen, this is supposed to happen 15 days later, but I don't want to wait that long for this one. Most of them, once you take a certain province, you will get this. Schutzmannschaft in Lithuania. The Lithuanians viewed the Germans as liberators in the first months of occupation, and many Lithuanians conscripted in the Red Army deserted. The men eager to collaborate with the German forces were organized into 15 battalions, and 1941 numbered 1 through 15 Schutzmannschaft battalions, with more following the next years. Okay, so we can give them some supplies to equip them and get battalions. So that's what we wanted to do now. Let's see, where did they show up? You can see them pop up on the map, but maybe, see, there they are. They're all right here. So what we get is and this is one thing I've been waiting for, just hoping it would fire, and it hasn't, because this will radically change your ability to defend rear areas. So, obviously we penetrated much deeper than just a little ways into. To the Soviet Union. Now a lot of these Schutzmannschaft types were oh, let's set them here. I keep missing. Reduce roll risks. Were recruited into the Waffen-SS. Initially it was sort of like, oh, now that you're Schutzmannschaft type jobs, why don't you come to the real fighting of the real war and, you know, join a Waffen-SS unit. Later on, as things get worse and worse, they are drafted / units converted without, well, I'm not saying units were sort of converted because of, you know, and this is not just like the Lithuanians, I'm talking about generally speaking. Where is, there's without a factory a big, so this is taking a little bit of time here. Hard to get references. Maybe, no, that's not, you know. Maybe it's further down here. Large area of rare materials. I know I've been upgrading its level of production. Thought it was right out here. And then well, that's not it, but we can sell it there. But as the, you know, front was collapsing, it was sort of like, you're a soldier now. Oh, here it is. You're a soldier now, because if you're not a soldier now, you're going to be overrun, and oh, the Soviets aren't happy that you have been collaborating with the Nazis. Like this generic, a couple of you out here. That's it. Okay. So these are a lot of units, but I think they're justified. So these are similar to these Estonia's Grenzschutz ersatz. So Grenzschutz are like border guards, if I'm not mistaken the German correctly. The Schutzmannschaft. Okay, and we should, I think, get a bunch more, and I just want to see if they fire. That first event sets a flag that you want to have these, and then without it, the other ones won't fire. So Not just the way it works. Let's see if they work right now that we have that. Let's try this fight there while we have some supplies. Okay, no. We need to get moving. So you... I'm really wondering whether we should keep moving east or not. Well, we should keep some moving east. So I think this is where the final battle is now happening. Okay, let's speed a little bit there. Okay, well. No, I don't want to do that myself. Okay, Japan. Nice to hear from you. Yes, please, rare materials. Thank you. Down to there. There, supplying some level of organization. Okay, winking. No, you come this way. You go there. You go there. Yeah, go left. Yeah, they're coming. These guys are supposed to be advancing to help that out. Get pushed back. Okay. I think games will be ours. Everybody just sitting around here, they're all attacking. Okay, destroyer escort roll. Good. Protector convoys. So we need to do ship. Wow. Now we've gone up to 8, 15, because we were down at 7 something, so that means some of the negative effects on something have gone away a bit. Various elements. These are about to fire. Of course, we're also going to get more and more Schutzmann shot, hopefully. So that would have really helped me. I'm thinking now if I had had those guys in my rear. Go up here. Keeping the just do that. Keeping the revolt risk down. So I hope it works for you, even if it didn't work for me. But I really could use your feedback. If you've got them, if you've seen them, that'd be great. If you haven't, well, I would like to hear that too, but it's not as useful because I'm not sure whether it's a similar thing to mine, just not firing because timers, or whether it's something else. Where did these go? Oh, oh, it's this guy who's attacking. Oh, hey, join in. Okay, well, some of those are in mildly good shape. Okay, we've got the Einsatzgruppen, so let's look here now at some of the worst places for bolt risk. Okay, and I need to see if there's there is no particular key point. Let's look at infrastructure. Okay, let's dump it there. Good move. No. Let's look for an SS here. Police one. Alright, he gets it. Well, let's not put him down just yet. Let's see if we've got another. That looks like a likely spot. Yeah, that Luftwaffe division isn't doing much to suppress the partisans, so. Find something in that zone. No, just something in the middle of it there. The other fellow. There we go. We got those divisions, okay. Here. Let's see, I decided to change my mind of how some of this works. Let's first, how I'm doing this. I don't know, is it weird that I'm already wanting to, I want to play the next playthrough of this through, I want to do it differently, what I want to change. But I don't know that I'm likely to this time I'm going to go this way. But I'm going to come up here and do 254. So keep the same number, but it just converted from an infantry to a Jaeger division. But I don't think I'll do it for another playthrough. I just don't because I'm looking at the numbers of this, and it's getting decent numbers so far, but it's... oh, I don't know that it's going to be so... you know, people want to see it another time. I'm sure a couple of you will say, yeah, I would, but... okay, let's see. Load you on board. Load you on board. Load you on board. And we can load somebody else. Getting ready to deal with the Allied invasion. Yeah. Long enough legs just to... probably one more core won't be enough, but something better than nothing. So thinking that, let's grab another one of these. Well, mountain cores are pretty good for this. Terrain? Send you down there. You good desert cavalry? Do you like riding horses in dry places? You know, obviously Arab horses run around in the desert, but even they take a fair amount of water, I'm sure. And probably they take... they're probably non-Arab horses not used to it. They're just dismal in the desert. Okay, let me attack it there. You cross it over there. You come over here to make sure that this doesn't pushing out, because that could be a big problem. Well, we overran what hadn't been there, and now you guys... you stop and you defend against this guy who cannot attack him. Warhead fusing. You think that's a simple matter? It isn't. Don't know when, but once they got good magnetic warhead detonators, they were able to shoot under the ship, so you don't hit the ship at all, but the torpedo goes under the ship. Once it gets sort of centered under the ship, it fires off, and the concussion wave of the the torpedo would be so much more than even the impact of the torpedo on the ship. It just breaks it back. But I think that's post-war. Now, during the war, the U.S. had significant trouble with its detonators, that they were shooting and hitting engine. Also, I need to do this to get our snorkel to get that going right. Oh, we are on the right stuff. Oh well, whatever. And so they had real serious problems. Well, keep moving up there. Oh, you're still defending. Stop defending, stop defending, stop defending. I don't know if me chanting this helps it any faster. Oh, Tavotu or whatever was shown up on the battlefield. Once you're there, I'll smack that unit hard. Ah, bunch of other stuff must have. Oh, those Polizei units plus the air. Okay, cool. That means we need to build some stuff. We're gonna let the Van Houten stay in production. But we're getting a little low on it, so let's just do one of that. We are losing stuff and we're continuing to operate in more expanded environments. We're doing okay with manpower, so that's sort of why I put these guys. Well, let's see if we can have some. Well, I want to know who's faster. Motorized engineers, which we would have a 7. Armored engineers. Okay, motorized is faster. Good. It's cheaper too. What I'm thinking of is light armor. Fast, fairly cheap. Yeah, SP artillery, it would be faster than medium. Medium slows it down. But it's sort of expensive. We need an infantry support element, so these guys might slow us down a little bit. These guys are just so damn expensive. Well, maybe not so. Yeah, with everything else, let's go with mechanized. There we go. Now, yes, these slowed them down, but you got to remember the engineers will give certain bonuses in certain terrains. So we need to do that to keep these from bloating up too much. Okay, well, 30. Yeah, okay, but let's do one that can remove this. And that. We need motorized infantry and medium. Keep that speed up fairly well. Yeah, I'm sort of thinking India kind of invasion or something, so with those. There we go. I don't even know if those are a waste because, yeah, I don't. Let's build a long-range sub. And just as for additional. Okay, now again we have our revolt risk. Let's put no leaders. Yeah, we'll reduce that revolt risk so that effects from these. Or I actually have to fight and defend that, I'll just combine the units. First. We gotta choose the area first, I guess. See, we're already doing some weird job there. Now let's throw one more. Let's turn off all this. I just so used to having that, and so, but I can see that it slows this up. We've got a bunch more to place. We want to place them all. You may not be sure about placing them all, but yeah. Well, we are going to get some more of those Schutzmann shot, maybe very soon, so we're going to stop placing those. These. Okay. We're going to do a bunch of those unit upgrades once we get this done. And we might as well deploy. There we go. Just wanted to add fighter protection to it. Shuts down its range somewhat, but we can still be operating good there. So now we need the auto assign back on because, well, I don't know if we need it. Let's do, who do we have here that would be a ground attack and fighter type? Mulders is only a 2? How interesting. I want to give him a fighter unit if we're going to give him anything. It will be, and change you to it's too far east, gotta be. Here we go. Okay, and you're maxed out. Not east, awesome. Okay, space. Okay, well, since we're no longer really using any of this for seemingly active supply flying, let's get you flying supplies up to here. New supply from down there as well. There is a, I guess. Doubt you can do it, but let's just see if these have the monumental distance. To get to... Yep, they did. Oh no, that's rebase. We don't want to do that. Oh, okay, we can rebase to here. Who is this that's just showed up here? You're waiting for supplies. Hopefully you'll get supplies soon. Let's give you to a... There we go. Yeah, decent core. He's still trying to catch up to the front lines. Hey, I've got tigers. I'm good at bashing through units. If we only had supplies and fuel, we'd be kicking butt. Okay, well, you ran out of organization. All these guys have pushed up there. Yeah, I think it's time to cut back south this way. Okay, auto saving, good. No, well, the second is when the rescue events are fire, I believe. There we go. Major defeat. Where do we have a major defeat? Oh, yeah, okay, well. That one. Okay, well, you guys. I don't know if that's any faster. You going to need to get quicker. Snow begins to fall. Snow will start to affect combat in Northern Europe, Alps, Soviet Union, China, and Northern USA, Canada. That will become more difficult and require greater use of air power to dislodge the enemy. Okay, well, I wanted to do this before October. Under this stack, not attacking. Everybody's attacking. And maybe I should be air powering that attack a bit. Well, they should be up for base air intercept. Far away. Should be up for your operations. Resting, but they're doing intercept, good. And attacking the Naval. Resting, we're doing air intercept still. Oh yeah, so a bunch of Schutzmann shot. So good. Okay. Air order placed. Friendly nation has placed an air order. Hungary. Alright, we'll accept that. So here we go. This is what should have been firing all along. As we were taking these things, but the first one didn't get set, so I'm a little pissed, but okay. Ukrainian Auxiliary Police was formed on the 27th of July 1941. Although the Ukrainians greatly outnumbered other non-Germans in the Schutzmannschaft, only the Volksdeutsch Germans from the Ukraine were given leadership roles. At first, the units were issued black uniforms of the Allgemeine SS, stripped of German insignias. So you can see some of them there with the Ukrainian flag. There they are in their early uniforms. Later uniforms go on, so yes, we want to do this. Schutzmannschaft in Belarus. The Belarusian Auxiliary Police was established in July 1941. It was staffed by local inhabitants but commanded by German officers. The units consisted of 1 police officer for every 100 rural inhabitants and 1 police officer for every 300 urban inhabitants. Okay, as you can see, early Schutzmannschaft were not necessarily well uniformed. The Schutzmannschaft in Estonia. The 1st Estonian Auxiliary Police Battalions were numbered 29th through 45th and 50th. They were set up, or they were made up of national staff, including 1 of the German monitoring officers. Some of the battalions took part in various battles against the Soviets, such as Stalingrad, the 36th Battalion. Basically, I'm sure they were sent east to be rear area and got trapped in Stalingrad, as opposed to early storming of the city, I presume. The 1st Latvian Auxiliary Police was established at Daugavpils, conquered by Germans in the first week of the war. Latvians were mainly used against partisans. Yes, we want these guys. New oil refinery has come online. We now have specialized oil buildings. I presume we start having that, but okay. Conf group narrowing, which happens once we get Narva. The Laconia Incident. The Laconia Incident was a series of events surrounding the sinking of the British troop ship in the Atlantic during World War II. An attack on the subsequent rescue attempts on the 12th of September 1942, RMS Laconia was carrying 2,732 crew, passengers, and soldiers. The prisoners of war was torpedoed and sunk by German U-boats. U-boat submarine U-156 off the coast of West Africa. Operating partly under the dictates of the old prize rules, the U-boat commander, Corvette Capitan Werner Hartstein, immediately commenced rescue operations. The U-156 broadcast their humanitarian intent on open radio channels to all Allied forces in the area and were joined by crews of several of the U-boats in the vicinity. After servicing and picking up survivors who were laden on the foredeck, the U-156 headed on the surface towards a rendezvous with Vichy French ships under Red Cross banners with the intention of offloading the survivors. On its journey, the U-boat was spotted U.S. Army Air Force's B-24 Liberator. The pilot reported the U-boat's location, intentions, and presence of survivors, but was inexplicably ordered by the higher command to attack the ship. The U-boat killed dozens of the Laconia survivors with bombs and strafing attacks, forcing the U-boat to cast their remaining survivors into the sea and crash dive to avoid being destroyed. The pilots of the mistakenly reported that they had sunk the U-boat and was awarded medals for their bravery. So, we improve our relations with Italy, or I guess by helping out here. We don't need this. We've already had it. Form the Estonian SS Legion. Formation was announced on the 27th or 28th of August 1942 by the German occupying forces of Estonia, formally establishing on October 1st, 1942. That would be right now. SS Oberfuhrer Franz Augsburger was nominated to be the commander of the Legion. In the spring of 43, additional men were drafted from the police forces. As, like I was saying earlier, you get the drafting and volunteer elements from the police units to it. So yes, we will establish the Estonian Legion. Guessing it's up here somewhere. You see, we got massive amounts of police. Oh, there we go. So let's give it SS Commander here. There we go. Don't know what we're going to do with it, but we have it now. We've got a massive amount of police now, finally, to deal with things. No, that's good. Great. Well, I'm going to pause the video and send all these back, or send these out, and then I'll be right back. Alright, I'm back. Just got a lot of the Schutzmannschaft moving east, did a little other work, and fired a couple more of these ERR events. The ERR confiscated many volumes from libraries and looted the museums of Kharkov as well as Soviet archives. In a note of Vyacheslav Molotov, People's Commissar for Molotov. I know his last name. Foreign Affairs of the Soviet Union presented before the International Military Tribunal. It was recorded that the Germans burned a collection of 40,000 books, one of the oldest architectural libraries in the USSR. Also, it was written that the occupiers used the books as paving stones for muddy streets in order to facilitate the passage of motor vehicles. I find the books as, I don't know, that seems a bit hyperbolic. I don't know. Not that they wouldn't have done it in a desperation situation, but it seems a bit much. But I don't know. And Molotov, well, the 40,000 books, there is an event which we won't be seeing, that if we're starting to lose after this event fires, I think it's this one of them fires, and then if the Soviet Union is retaking some cities, there will be an event. Like I said, we won't see it, but an event fires that's destroying a lot of the stuff to keep it back out of the Soviet hands. So we get some revolt risk around Kharkov and ERR in Athens. After Greece fell to the Axis forces, a special mission visited the country to confiscate the Jewish private collections. However, the Jews were able to hide many of their goods, so the Germans managed to loot a small quantity. Many public libraries were pillaged and numerous volumes were destroyed by the Germans. So, don't get so much from the Greeks, but it actually upsets them a bit too. So, let's continue. Let's just see. Yeah, we'll do the Panzer Division, Liebstandart, Totenkopf all later. Hopefully after we take. I also sent a bunch of bombers to. I'll probably get them to shoot up now, but hoping that they would. Help out. So not that they didn't destroy stuff purposefully, but I think a lot of the destruction was just simply to keep it out of Soviet hands. It doesn't make it untrue or anything, it just, I don't know. But if you noted that part of what they were confiscating was stuff just because it was Jewish owned in certain regions, but it wasn't particularly Jewish. But they were also confiscating Jewish stuff because it was Jewish. Because Rosenberg and Himmler had this fascination with Jewish things, and they had weird conspiracies about the Jews, and they were trying to, I don't know if find evidence is the right term, but they were trying to find out about the great Jewish conspiracies, if you will. Because Rosenberg definitely believed the Protocols of the Elders of Zion, which is truly, trust me people, is a complete and total fakery. Okay, good. Money, supplies. Rebuild the, yeah, we've lost that. Yeah, okay. Schutzmannschaft in Lithuania. Oh, okay. Oh, this is expand the Schutzmannschaft in Lithuania. That's why I fired the first one, and it was because it had a Lithuania that it had a 15 days after the first one fired, but I wanted to see. And this one, see, now this is the 42 one that the first one should have happened, and then the 1942 one should happen, so not right on the heels of that. And so we get even, oh, it's down here even more. Schutzmannschaft. Okay, relocate training units to occupied areas, territories. The Einsatzheers was divided between ersatz replacement and the Ausbildung training units. Most far-reaching change in the organization of the replacement army took place in October 1942, when all basic replacement training units were broken up into their two elements, one to handle introduction and replacement, and the other to handle actual combat training. Creation of these divisions was primarily done to free combat divisions for use on the Eastern Front by replacing those stationed in occupied territories. Oh, I understand. Yeah. So by the units that were in the Western Front or wherever in occupied territories, combat stuff, they would send them out and free them up. Okay. The mission of these new divisions was to train recruits having already received basic training in the homeland in their specialties of combat theater. They also served to occupy and secure rear areas. They were not considered able for frontline duties. There was originally 5 such divisions. 81, 80, or 381, 85, yeah, okay, subordinate to the Harris Group. A, B, Nord. Deploy them. Okay, I'm going to lose the money and the supplies. Agree with the supplies. Don't so much the money, but okay. No, we've already had that. These repeat firings. See, I'm not the only bad coder out there. Some of the stuff I'm having problems with is just this play style of what's going on. I'm gonna, well, let's grab these 3 and send them out somewhere here. Finland. Money for rare materials? Sure thing. Oh, we are positive rare materials. I don't think it's because we are capturing some big stock somewhere. That is good. Now, of course, we're going to be expanding it, I think, as we, well, I know, as we continue to remove the building railroad stuff. So we still need to keep production of some of those, expanding the mines or whatever you want to call it. attack. Let's continue up along the side of the river. Just keep the speed up and going as winter approaches here. Very much why I want to bring the Soviet Union down now. You don't want a bunch of... It's winter. Your Soviets get massive attack bonuses and whatnot. Okay, infantry unit combined arms. Okay, we'll just stop these in mobile unit combined arms. Okay, now we're back to parity. Good, those both. Antonescu visits. This has got to be another, because this is like the third or fourth time this has happened. Another coding problem. Not that, I mean... Yeah. That's a problem. We've got to somehow deal with that. Oh, now maybe you can get out behind these guys. Oh, retreating? Oh, you were in combat? Oh, okay. Well, sorry. Let's see who could be attacking me. Just didn't pay attention, of course. Oh, this guy up here probably. Well, it seems to lock up the far north. There, okay, well you guys. You attack here. And you can stay here. Oh. I noticed in between episodes my fleet that brought the Marines here. Well, the Marines are there and all fine, but so I think it's happened after they got there. They got bombed probably from here by the Allies, so I sent down, there you go, okay, they're here. Some fighters as well to deal with this here, and I can't load my Marines anymore. There are not enough of nice transports left. So I'm just gonna send some more. Hopefully they'll get there faster. Okay, Division Azul. The Blue Division, Spanish Division Azul, German Blaue Division, or the 250th Infantry Division in the German Army, was a unit of Spanish volunteers that served in the German Army on the Eastern Front. Yes, I'm sure you've heard me talk about them before. Give the Laconia order. The Laconia order, Laconia Befehl, was issued by the German Grand Admiral Karl Donitz during World War II as a result of the Laconia incident. All Kriegsmarine submarine commanders were ordered to disregard any survivors of sunk Allied vessels. Prior to the incident, vessels of the Kriegsmarine customarily picked up survivors of Allied vessels. In September 42, off the coast of West Africa in the Atlantic Ocean, German vessels, among them the German submarines U-156, 506, and 507, attempting to rescue survivors of the ocean liner RMS Laconia, were indiscriminately attacked by American aircraft despite having informed the Allies of the rescue of the Allied soldiers on board, along with many women and children. Beforehand, rescue operations were continued by other vessels. Another U-boat, U-105, was attacked by U.S. aircraft and forced to dive. A total of 1,300, whilst 1,113 survivors were eventually rescued. 1,619 died, mostly Italian prisoners. So, well, I think we already have unrestricted submarine warfare. Yes, well, okay. Getting that won't help, but that's donuts there. Now, I don't know, do any of you like old movies? I watch them all the time. Obviously not while I'm making episodes, but much of the other time. Now, I'll also watch a lot of World War II movies. Very few, Axis ones. I have watched a little bit, but excuse me. But just because not speaking German and having to, read subtitles when they are subtitled gets to be a bit of a pain. Excuse me. So, if you've watched some of the better, often American ones, the merchant vessels are getting across, and you have the submarines, and I'm thinking, I can't remember the name of it right now, one in particular, in which the U-boats come up and strafe the merchant marines. To the best of my, that are in the water and things like this, to the best of my knowledge, the U-boats never did that. Again, to the best of my knowledge. I'm not saying they didn't do it. I'm not saying if you've got good written reports that they did, I wouldn't believe them. I would believe them if you had good period reports. There may be some incidents where the U-boats rammed lifeboats, maybe, but that could also be just simply, shall we say, bad navigation at night, because a lot of the attacks happened at night. So I'm distrustful of that. Most of the German sailors didn't really want to kill the merchant marine sailors so much. They just wanted to sink the vessels. It was never a failure point for the Allies if they had enough merchant marines, the merchant sailors. That was never the failure point, and I'm sure theoretically it could become a failure point, but it's not that hard. I mean, really good merchant marine officer types, I'm sure, and not just officers, but also the their equivalent of NCOs, the tradesmen of the thing, can take many years to develop. But basic fundamental use, ability, doesn't take that long to train. What really takes a long time is building the vessels, getting the resources, building the vessels. So just sinking the vessels is normally good enough. It's different a bit when you're talking about like fighter pilots, because well-trained fighter pilots are highly valuable. It's one thing the Japanese didn't ever seem to learn. They seem to value the aircraft more than the pilots. Once we got that, we can bring this guy down. I was thinking about bringing those down, so let's do that. Valuing the aircraft more than the pilots, and obviously late in the war, I'm sure I'm very justified for saying something like that when seeing the kamikazes. And it's not entirely true, because the Japanese, definitely some of their carrier pilots were highly trained and they did value them. But it's, you know, it's a different sort of mindset, I think, to some degree. And again, it's not universally true with any one service. But so taking out, excuse me,